I've got a little story to share with you about when we were living in Birmingham in England. As you know, Pauline and I were not committed Christians when we were travelling. I'd been at university and had fallen away from the Lord, had become, if you like, a prodigal. And we were running in our own steam, running under our own steam. We get to Birmingham and I took a job with the government there as a welfare officer, come probation officer, whatever jobs they wanted to throw at us. And it was back in the days when very few staff are available to handle very serious problems. And we were given the responsibility of being on night duty once a fortnight or so and being responsible for the whole of the city of Birmingham. Now, Birmingham was a city of 3 million people and they had huge social problems. A lot of immigration problems, a lot of racial problems, a lot of personal problems, a lot of poverty. But I was also appointed as a juvenile probation officer. And one particular night when I was on night duty, I was allowed to have a government vehicle so long as I took it back to the government garage before I went home at midnight on the bus. Well, I went out this particular night to visit a young man called Paul who lived in Solihull. He'd been in trouble with the law, he'd been placed on probation, and it was my responsibility to keep tabs on him, make sure he was behaving himself, following the rules, staying home at night and looking after his mother, etc, etc. Well, I went out to visit Paul this particular night and he wasn't home. He was off with his friends somewhere. And when it came time to take the car back to the city, about 11:30 at night, I took the car back and the garage was in a dark street. And it was pretty difficult to get from there to the bus depot without walking through some streets of darkness. And one of the alleys that I was going down, I could hear a group of young men coming up the other end of the alley, and I could see them as they passed under a street light. And it was a group of what they used to call Bovver Boys, young teenagers who are a little bit off the rails, form a gang. They wear bobber boots, really heavy hobnail boots, and they carry knives and chains and they shave their heads, and they're pretty tough as a group. And they're coming towards me. Well, I didn't like the look of this and my heart starts to pound, and I crossed the road. I thought, well, maybe I can sneak down the street on this side of the road and they won't notice me. But they noticed me and they crossed the road too, and so we were in a head-on collision. And they were kicking over the council barriers around, you know, roadworks, etc. They were making a lot of noise and pretty aggro coming towards me. When they did get to meet me, they quickly surrounded me. And there were 5 or 6 young men surrounding me and I couldn't move. I'm trapped between these young men. They've got me like a rat in a trap. And I thought, this is it, I'm going to be either have a knife in my belly or at least my wallet taken from me. Well, one of the young men brought out a cigarette lighter and he flicked it in my face, lit up my face. And he said, "Oh, this is Mr. Nicholas. He's my probation officer." Oh, I just looked at him. I said, "Paul, what are you doing out here? I've just been out to your home to talk to your mother. Why weren't you home?" Oh, I said, "I'm out here. I've got some business to do with the boys." But he said, "Mr. Nicholas, it's very dangerous walking the streets of Birmingham at night. We should escort you down to the bus." So I just wanted to say, isn't it amazing how God had his hand on me even in that very difficult time? A city of 3 million people, and the one boy that I was caring for on probation happens to be the boy that saved me from being rolled that night and escorted me to the bus. God has amazing ways of looking after his people, even when they're running away from him.